Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Lord Stephen Christ's Divorce Court, where today's episode, we have a very happy couple here who's actually, they want to be divorced. And that is Miss Sunshine here with the nice blonde hair. So I'm going to make her a nice happy face. And the happy black man, who is the celestial sphere, because it's black, right? And of course, this is an interracial couple, so they're going to be happy that they're divorced. And that there's no relation between the two of them. There's no relation. You see, within the heliocentric model, that's what they will want you to believe. They will want you to believe that there's no relationship between these two entities. Why? Because they believe that the Earth is spinning, and it's wobbling, and it's precessing over a cycle of 26,000 years. It's precessing, right? Okay, let me explain to you what is going on here. Let's go into Stellarium here. If you click on this little wrenchy thing here, and you go into I'm not sure. Hold on one second. Not wrenchy. This one. Sky and viewing options. Click on marking as you go to orthographic mode, and it gives you a nice celestial sphere, which is actually very accurate if you understand. It's a true literal celestial sphere, just like how I depict here in my Earth model. It's a central celestial sphere, ball of stars, within the middle of the concave Earth. It's an actual object. And the Sun and the celestial sphere have a symbiotic relationship. It propels like a perpetual motion device. As the Sun crosses that galactic equator, which is the Milky Way band. See, that Milky Way band is not a spiral galaxy. It actually divides the celestial sphere into two. And there's opposing currents in each hemisphere. So when the Sun is in one hemisphere, the current is going to drag the Sun down southerly when it crosses over the summer solstice, or it's going to bring it up northerly when it crosses over the winter solstice. And so that band, it performs a very specific function. And so it just so happens that in today's day and age, it's just from a heliocentric point of view, it's a happy coincidence that Sun is crossing over that galactic equator, exactly syncing up perfectly with the solstices, whether it's in June or whether it's in December. Look at that. December 21st crosses right over there. And see, if you look over here on the top here, you see two different readings here. They have what they call a J2000 epoch, where they have to recalculate the positioning of the Sun and the sky, because they are calculating in this fictitious precession of the equinoxes. Every 50 years they give you a different epoch. And so those readings are going to be off. And here's the regular right ascension and declination. Now, if you simply go back in time, we're going to go back to the year 1602. 1602. And we see here that the Sun is no longer crossing over the galactic equator during the winter solstice. It's off. I have to go back about 5 days. See, December 16th. It's crossing over. Now it's crossing over. There, December 16th. 5 days. It's 5 days off. Same thing in June in 1602. It crosses over in 616. And of course, that's where they have to adjust, because they are calculating in this fictitious precession of the equinoxes. And so the reason why I bring up 1602 is because in that year, Johannes Kepler wrote the Astrotheology, aka Astrology, where he said in Thesis 5, he specifically stated that date, or those dates of December 21st and June 21st were the dates of the solstice. Okay. So, was he wrong, or was he just simply not calculating precession? Did he have to devise a epoch 1600, a J1600 epoch to correct it? Did he have to move the goalposts? It's not working that way, guys. Okay, it's much more reasonable to understand that there is no precession. Let's go back to the current time here. And that Sun and Milky Way band are performing a function together. Like I mentioned before, as it crosses over, okay, there's viscosity here. When the Sun is a variable velocity, I mentioned that before, that's how we get the analemma. It's not just an apparent velocity because of the equatorial location. Watch my analemma video. I explained that. No, the sun is actually slowing down as it goes through this Milky Way band. And that's what actually slows it down. And then it changes direction and it brings it back north again. And so, like, you can go back to the year zero. The year zero, let's go, let's see, the winter solstice on the year zero. Well, it wasn't 12/21, was it? No, it was more like November 25th. See, this is why precession of the equinoxes is a hoax. It's a myth. It's fiction. It's based on a presupposed spinning, rotating, tilted, precessing Earth, which is not true in the first place. If you look back in history, I made a video series about this. There was debate over whether or not precession was actually real. You can watch these videos here. I'll put them in the description box. There was Petrus Alfonsi, there was Hipparchus, there was Ptolemy. They all weren't sure. They thought there might have been trepidation of the equinox, which means that the sun was moving back and forth. It wasn't doing a linear precession over time. And that's the actual case. Some years the sun's going to be slightly forward and slightly backward, but it's always going to be using this galactic equator as a threshold to change course, to change northerly and southerly direction. Okay, so you understand? Just like the heliocentrists will say that's a happy coincidence that the sun and the moon appear the same size in the sky based upon, the fact that the sun is 400 times further away and 400 times as big. That's just a happy coincidence, right? That too, well, let's say this. It's a happy coincidence that the sun is crossing over in today's day and age, in 2017, or even for the past 100 years for that matter. It's crossing over the galactic equator during the time, coinciding perfectly with the equinox, with the solstice. But again, they have to stress that there's no relation. There's no relation between the two. So they're happy. It's a happy coincidence. Okay, it's much more reasonable, guys. Much, 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 much more reasonable to understand that this is actually what's going on. The sun and the celestial sphere have a symbiotic relationship, and they perform a function of steering the sun north and south. And that's how we get the seasons, and that's how everything works harmoniously and perfectly. So that's true happiness. True happiness, true harmony is understanding the true function, the true form of the earth and the universe. Wise up, guys. Thanks for watching.